So, fun story, it's all over my Facebook feed in different ways. Trump is going to resign. No, and he's not getting impeached either. Well, it's easy to say he's not being impeached because he isn't. Because it's a political process and Trump is currently a little bit more popular than his own party. He is like 80% popular in his own party, 80% approval within the Republican Party. That is pretty consistent. That is pretty constant, probably because people who don't like him are leaving the Republican Party, which is completely to be expected because Donald Trump is basically everything that is the Republican Party, only louder. So he's not going to leave, and why he's not going to actually, resign within the next year or two is really, really quite simple. There are a few reasons. First of which is pretty simple, pretty basic. He doesn't want to. He has basically come to believe that the presidency is a bit of a birthright for himself in particular. Nobody else, just himself, not his daughter and son and son-in-law and stuff, just him. He believes that he was made to be president. This goes back to when he was a mere man-child of about 35, doing the late-night talk show freak show circuit. Along with Richard Simmons and Andy Kaufman and Harvey P. Carr and Richard Simmons. He did a lot of those. Anyway, so he has been wanting to be president ever since then. When he used to go on Entertainment Tonight, and he used to insist that they would ask him whether he wanted to be president, and he said, "No, I don't think so." He wanted to be president. It's all this. It was his attempt to be humbly humble. It was his attempt to be humble, to try to say that he didn't want to be president in front of all of Entertainment Tonight's audience, which was big at the time because there was no internet. That's the only way you could actually find out about who was big then. Mel Gibson and Jim Carrey. No, he wasn't big then. Mel Gibson or Tatum O'Neal. It's the only way you could find out news about Tatum O'Neal. So people used to watch Entertainment Tonight, and he would get his press agent, which is him, on the phone saying he wanted to do an interview. He was, doing something that was remotely famous, and then he would deny he wanted to be president. And now he's president for some reason. Anyway, what's the other reasons? Oh, right. So he. Oh, this is difficult, this part. This is difficult. Okay. Instead of being sued, I will give it as a hypothetical. Right. Let's just say that a politician, who shall remain nameless, had a lot of money. Well, he had a lot of debt and a lot of buildings, and he tried to borrow money, but the banks won't let him because he's been kind of bankrupt 6 times, and a lot of foreclosures and stuff in his casinos. Casinos are supposed to make money, but he allowed his to go bankrupt for some reason anyway. So you can't get any loans from the bank. And now what would I do if I had a loan from the bank? I would have to go to a loan shark, a member of a criminal organisation who would loan me money at extortionate interest rates. And if I couldn't pay these off, then I would have to, smuggle drugs or become a prostitute. Either way, stuff's going up my ass. Not very good. Anyway, if a rich person has to borrow money and can't go to a bank, he can go to organised crime too. However, this rich person, who shall remain nameless, doesn't have to have things go up his ass if he does not want to. He can do things like launder money for other people by allowing them to go into their casinos and win most of their money back, which many casinos just don't allow to happen. Or they can sell a property at most of the value of that property and keep some of it for himself, so that that money can be laundered into not looking like it was from the proceeds of criminal activities. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's just say that happened. Now, if that person is now hypothetically president, that person will have to they would have to kind of stay president, because these illegal favours that the organised crime figures would need to happen will be much easier now. He can pardon a lot of people that he wouldn't have been able to pardon if he was just some kind of billionaire, and he can do things to foreign policy that would not be able to be done if he was just a billionaire. Anyway, so he can do all these things, but if he lost that office and he was really, really unpopular, and his conduct in that office of president, if his conduct during that time meant that all of his businesses were now less profitable than when he started, and he wasn't getting any extra money in from, I don't know, giving his own businesses government contracts and using his businesses as a way to accept bribes and stuff, then he is going to have to stay as president until such a time as all the money is paid off. And because it's a loan shark, it's never going to be paid off, because loan sharks have a way of making the money that you owe to be more and more money. So, eventually, at some point, things are going into your ass. So, if he, resigns the presidency, Nixon style, things are going to go into his ass, and he does not want that to happen. So what's he going to do? Well, if I was one of his organised crime sort of advisors into how you do things with organised crime, I don't know how he'd pay me to do that, because he doesn't have any money left. What I'd suggest that is he could get all of the debt, put it into his American holdings, and then just flee the country with all of the money and go to a place where there is no extradition treaty, and then pretend that he was forced out of office because of all his, the bad stuff that he's done, and that it's a witch hunt, it's really a witch hunt, he didn't do it, it was the cat. And that's what he'll probably do. But not now, because he's making money now. And losing money. And has lots of debt. I'm dangerously talented, I don't have a course in life.